Well, I had a new war to fight. And this time, the enemy was inequality, racism, sexism, classism. And I fought that fight for the last 30 years of my life. I fought for the civil liberties of every man, woman, and even the little ones. I must admit, I struggled to get my priorities straight at first. Frederick Douglass chastised me for taking and supporting the white woman's ballot. Well, I knew I had to make a choice, and I did so. I left the women's suffrage movement because I knew that Black men must have the right to vote, and that the plight of Black women was more related to their race than their gender. In May of 1866, I was invited to address the 11th National Women's Rights Convention. It was in New York City. And on that platform, I was seated there with Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. I must admit that I did shake things up a bit. And when I finished, you could hear a pin drop. See on the other side. Thank you, my sisters. I must admit that I do feel somewhat of a novice upon this platform. I was born of a race whose inheritance has been outrage and wrong. Most of my life has been spent in battling against those wrongs. I did not feel as keenly as others that I had these rights in common with other women, which now are being demanded. I say then that justice is not fulfilled so long as a woman is unequal before the law. We, yes, are all bound up together in one great bundle of humanity. And society cannot trample on its feeblest member without receiving the curse in its own soul. You tried that in the case of the Negro. Amen. You pressed him down for 2 centuries. Society cannot afford to trample and neglect the enlightenment that's it of any class of its members. At the South, the legislation was on behalf of rich slaveholders, while the poor white man was neglected. What is this consequence today? From that very class of people, the neglected white men, comes the man who stands today at the helm of the nation. This grand and glorious revolution which has commenced will fail to reach its climax of success until throughout the length and the breadth of this American Republic, the nation shall be so colorblind as to know no man by the color of his skin, nor the curl of his hair. It will then have no privileged class trampling upon and outraging the underprivileged class. Yes, my sister. but will then be one great privileged nation, whose privilege will be to produce the most loftiest of manhood and womanhood that humanity can attain. Amen. Going from Washington to Baltimore by train, they put me in the smoking car. Hey! The capital of this nation, where the black man consecrated himself to the nation's defense, faithful when the white man was faithless. They put me in the smoking car. Sister, they tried it once, but the next time they tried it, they failed. For I would not go in. One day, I took my seat in a car, and the train conductor came to me and said to move and take another seat. I just screamed, "Murder!" Ooh, that man said if I were black, I ought to behave myself. I knew that he was white, and he was not behaving himself. Are there no wrongs to be righted? I do not believe that giving the woman the ballot is immediately going to cure all the ills of life. And I do not believe that white women are dewdrops just exhaled from the skies. I think that like men, that they are divided into three classes: the good, the bad, and the indifferent. The good would vote according to their principles and convictions. The bad is dictated by prejudice and malice. And the indifferent, well, they would vote on the strongest side of the question with the winning party. We have a woman in our country who has received the name of Moses, not by lying about it, but by acting out. She is a woman who has gone down into the Egypt of slavery and brought out hundreds of our people into liberty. The last time I saw her, her hands were swollen. The woman who had led the most successful expedition in Montgomery, who was brave enough and strong enough and secret enough to act as a scout for the American army, she had her hands swollen from a conflict with a brutal train conductor. He overtook to eject her from her place. That woman, whose courage and bravery won a recognition from our army and from every black man in the land, she is excluded from every thoroughfare of travel. Talk of giving women the ballot box. Go on, it is normal school. And the white women of this country need it. While there exists this brutal element in society which tramples upon the feeble and treads down the weak, I tell you that if there is any class of people who need to be lifted out of their airy nothingness and selfishness, it is the white women of America. Come on now. We, yes, are all bound up in one great bundle of humanity. And society cannot trample on its weakest member without receiving the curse in its own soul. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, my sisters. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my sisters.